It's time to consider not spending all that money on a flagship smartphone when you can get flagship features in something like the Doogee Mix. This is an absolute bargain. It features an AMOLED screen, a great camera, fingerprint sensor and really cool specifications. Let's take a closer look. So this is the Doogee Mix and I am extremely impressed. I'll run through briefly some of the specifications in a short while, but before I do so I just want to turn this screen off and just give you a look at how gorgeously designed this is. It is just so nice. Now it comes with protectors already installed on both the back and the front, and this is a blue colour, like an electric blue, and I just love it. Very cool indeed. And as you can see from the front of the smartphone, it's a bezel-less design. So this display, which is a 5.5 inch display, 1080p, goes almost up to the edges. The only bit we've got here is the chin down the bottom here. And this is where the fingerprint sensor resides as well. You saw that in action just a moment ago. Let me show you that fingerprint sensor again. Very accurate, very quick, and I've had 100% accurate reads on this fingerprint sensor so far. We've got on-screen controls here as well, but the fingerprint sensor also acts as extra controls for the smartphone. We've got a micro USB on the bottom for charging. We've got speakers. We've also got the SIM card tray on the side here. On the top edge we've got a 3.5mm headphone jack, and then round on this edge we've got the controls for both the power and also the volume up and down. Now round on the back, this is like a glass glossy back, very reflective as you can see, but we've also got some really cool cameras, dual cameras on the back, both a 16 megapixel and an 8 megapixel camera round on the back here. And then as I mentioned before, on the front we have got a 5.5 inch display, but because it's so close to the edges, it's sort of about the same size as you'd expect from a 5-inch display smartphone, so it's very comfortable to hold. Now inside we've got a Helio P25 octa-core processor. We've got a Super AMOLED screen, which has got really good viewing angles and really punchy colours as well. We've got either a 4GB RAM, 64GB ROM storage model, or the one with 128GB of storage comes with 6GB of RAM, and it's running Android version 7.0 out of the box. Inside we've got a 3380 milliamp hour battery, so 3380 milliamp hours, which is more than enough to actually get you through a whole day between charges. Now this is the Doogee sort of UI on here as well. This is Doogee Home, and it's okay. If we go across to the edge here, we've got some access to news. If we scroll back across right from the edge, it's hard doing this sometimes, there we go. If we scroll right across, then we get back to the home screen. We've got this little pull down thing here, which is cool, and this gives us access to some personalisation, things like icon packs, etc. And we can get rid of that just by swiping back up. And if we go into our apps tray, you can see how this is arranged as well. Now I've installed the Google Now launcher. I prefer that. So if we, instead of tapping the fingerprint sensor down here, if I actually tap the home key, it'd jump back into the Google Now launcher, which I just prefer. There's nothing wrong with the Doogee UI, but I prefer this. It's sort of more stock Android feel, and it's just a real pleasure to use. Now if I jump into here, let's go into our gallery and we can see some of the photos that I've taken. So let's go into camera and we're going to this one here. This was taken in very poor light, but you can see it's still actually taken the photo very well indeed. If we actually zoom in, you can see the focus point was about sort of this midpoint just here. Let's scroll across to this one. Again, less than optimal conditions for taking the photo, but a very good performance. And again, low light. And then this was a little bit better light, but very pleasing colours and a very good performance by the camera. Now let's go back to the home. I just want to talk to you about one thing that I'm not a fan of, and it is pretty much the only thing I'm not a fan of, and that's just down here. The front facing camera is on this bottom edge. Now I understand why this has been done. This has been done because of the bezel-less design around here, so it'd be pretty much impossible to fit a camera up the top. It would spoil the design. But when you're holding the phone, it's just not an ideal place for this front-facing camera. If you're taking selfies, then yes, you can readjust the sort of hold that you've got on the phone and it would work absolutely fine. But I suppose it was just a compromise that had to be made so that you could get this really gorgeous bezel-less design. Performance is absolutely fantastic. I can't fault the performance. It is so good, and I'm just really very impressed overall with this smartphone. And for the price, I'm astounded, almost speechless. This is a budget smartphone with absolutely amazing specifications. We've got an all-day battery life, that octa-core processor, a fingerprint sensor, Google Android version 7, 4 gigabytes of RAM on this particular one, and 64 gigabytes of storage, and it's just gorgeous. Just look at the design. I love the colour, super thin, super manageable to hold, and that really gorgeous 5.5 inch display. Doogee have knocked it out of the park with this one. This is the Doogee Mix. I'll leave a link down below to where you can pick up one for yourself. I just highly recommend it. It is just amazing. I really am amazed at what this actually offers for the money. And I said during the intro to this video that you're getting a flagship phone without spending flagship money. And it is true. The build quality is awesome, and the performance and just everything. I'm going to stop talking there. Pick up a Doogee Mix. I don't think you'll regret it. Fantastic value for money. Thanks very much for watching. Please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe. And I'll see you in another video very soon.